Krishna. So we welcome everyone for studying Srimad Bhagavatam. We are continuing our discussion on canto First, chapter 9, the passing away of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Lord Krishna, text number 9. Tan sametan mahabhagan upalabhya vasuttama पूजयामास धर्मज्ञो देशकाल विभागवित्. Bhishma Dev, who was the best amongst their 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful Rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place. Purport: expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So Bhishma Dev, on his arrow or death bed, is about to begin his counseling to Yudhishthir Maharaj. We had Dharmaraj fighting against Adharmaraj, Duryodhan. And in the massacre that happened in the war, he becoming very unhappy because of my desire to rule the kingdom. So many people had to die. And the amazing arrangement was, Dharmaraj, by his own good counsel to his own heart, couldn't convince himself. Vyasadev, the topmost counselor on planet, couldn't convince him. Krishna, who was personally telling him how all this was inevitable and you should not become unhappy about it, could not convince him. Because actually, the desire of the Lord was to bring forth the glory of Bhishma Dev in front of the whole world and to create a setting in which Bhishma Dev's glory can be finally and conclusively understood by the whole of the planet. Not just planet, but the entire universe. All along, Bhishma Dev was being thoroughly misunderstood by everybody. But Lord Krishna arranged that at the moment of his death, everyone in the universe will come to know what is the caliber of this devotee and how glorious is his passing away, personally orchestrated by the Lord. So, with this, the theme of this chapter, we studied how Bhishma Dev has welcomed all the sages. Dharmajna, he exactly knew the ways of treating different people and situations according to standard codes of religion, dharma. So this first line, expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. We have the classic example of how Parikshit Maharaj, he knew that Kali Yuga has to appear and has to be given some, so to say, jurisdiction. Very thoughtfully Parikshit Maharaj arranged that wherever there are these 4 breaking of regulative principles, he can reside there. This is called expertise. Imagine Kali, which is supposed to be rampant in all places, in all persons' lives, in all situations. Parikshit Maharaj condensed him and told only 4 places you can reside in my kingdom. Isn't that expertise? Which means anyone who will follow these 4 regulative principles, Kali cannot touch him. Despite being in Kali Yuga, he will not be touched. This is the meaning of adjusting according to time and place. Super expertise. These fans are making too much sound. Can you reduce the... So this is always going to be a challenge in our lives also, that material world is constantly changing. And the spiritual core of ourselves and our movement has to always remain the same. So constantly changing our ways to adjust to the time and place or circumstance, yet having the same spiritual core, staying the same ourselves, is a big challenge in this world. One time Satsvarup Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, if we were to write a biography about you, will that be okay? What would be your emphasis if that were to happen? And Prabhupada said, I only want one thing be mentioned, that I brought a tulsi plant and transplanted it in a foreign soil. Which meant, it's a very deep statement, that I never changed anything that is originally present in its purity or the spiritual potency. But my expertise was that I adjusted the time-place circumstance that prevailed around in such a way that that plant can grow, survive and grow, even in a foreign soil. And this is the actual genius of an expert devotee of the Lord that Prabhupada is talking about. So expertise refers to being compassionate and realistic. Can you give some examples how Prabhupada was compassionate and yet realistic, dealing with all of us? We saw those examples in the last class. I'll give an example. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati 64 rounds, Prabhupada made them to 16. Hope you feel the compassion. And realistic, as we call it. Any such examples?
When Janki Mataji's sister was there with Prabhupada in the kitchen when she was pregnant. So Prabhupada was compassionate, like not to compromising with any of the principles, like when she wanted to smoke or she...
Yeah, while cooking, suddenly she wanted to take a smoke. And Prabhupada said, well, just first cook for Krishna, then you do whatever you want to do afterwards. Height of compassion. Prabhupada also arranged for, what we have is Brahmacharini ashram, women staying in monastery, temple monasteries. That's compassionate and being realistic. We have another example of Prabhupada as a sannyasi conducting marriages. Unheard of in Vedic culture. And the most classic example I like is the way Prabhupada generated practical services for devotees. And the example of that is our George Harrison. So without changing his profession or expertise, the way his potential was engaged in serving Krishna. So that's being compassionate yet realistic. Not just to make a point, twisting and turning people around, but actually giving, dovetailing to their potential. So in our life, this is always going to be a challenge, how to do this. We will experience this, that we become materially compassionate towards ourselves, not spiritually compassionate. Early morning when we wake up, we think that waking up so early to chant our rounds is actually violence to the body. We are committing great himsa. So we want to be compassionate. We say thoda aur, no, not to be so himsatmak. So generally our tendency is to go on the material compassionate side, and we forget actually what is spiritual compassion. So this is one danger in how we adjust religious principles according to time, place and circumstance. So we have our own default setting. We have a liking for fruitive activity. We have a liking for mental speculation. We have a liking for sense gratification. So what we typically do? We adjust. There was this guru, very famous. Anybody who would go and tell him any problem of this world, he had only one answer to them. Somebody would go, I can't tolerate my husband or wife. Adjust. One word answer. I cannot tolerate my boss, the company I'm working with. Adjust. So, Prabhupada says this material world itself is a world of misadjustment. It's an incompatibility for the soul to be in this world. How long will you go on adjusting? So you have to make sure that in the name of adjusting, we are actually not compromising our spiritual core or spiritual practices. And this requires, in the truest sense, on a most practical level, priority management. We have generally heard the term time management, right? We should do time management. So there is this time management is a misnomer. Nobody can manage time. Time manages everybody. You understand? Kala is a very powerful energy of Krishna. Kalosmi. Krishna says, time I am. So you can manage time. So it's a foolish thing to imagine that I will manage time. What we actually manage is ourselves in relationship with time. And that we call as time management. So the actual term is priority management. And how to do this? The simple concept is we all have our dharma. We have our Krishna conscious dharma towards our eternal duties towards God, and we have our varnashrama dharma. We have our duties in this material world. So there is always going to be a conflict in our life between higher and lower forms of dharma. Life is all about trade-offs. You understand trade-offs? The moment you choose to get up in the morning and chant your rounds, you can't sleep in the bed, and that's called a trade-off. The moment you decide to come for the Bhagavatam class, then there are so many other things that you could have put into that time zone. You can't do them. So life is all about trade-off. So we have to all the time keep making these trade-offs in our life. So when we delegate the dharmic activities that we have in our life to time, that is called as being efficient. And when we delegate dharmic activities that we have in our life to other people, you become more effective in doing what you are doing. This does not mean that everything other people are supposed to do. It actually means we also have to do some things ourselves in our life. So the point I'm making is there is going to be always a conflict between higher and lower forms of dharmas, and the real expertise of a devotee is to make those wise choices. At this moment, what am I supposed to emphasize? And this is why he has to learn priority management. Sometimes we, after becoming devotees, do wrong prioritization. For example, a devotee suddenly picks up the standards of, 4 gravity principle, 16 rounds, early morning wake up, every day full morning program without fail, and then you see their health suffers, their sometimes relationships in the family suffers. Why? Because there is no understanding of the priority, how this works. It takes all of us actually some time to develop this maturity, ki what works and what doesn't work. And usually a lot of todfod has happened in the meantime, and a lot of purification also happens in the meantime. So therefore, the earlier we learn this concept, the better it is for our spiritual life. How to adjust according to time, place and circumstance. Which principles of dharma to be emphasized where? In such a way that at the end we have a glorious departure like Bhishmadev. Ante Narayana Smritihi. Thinking of Krishna. That is the actual target that we have. So what all of us are doing right now, you can imagine a person who is taking an adventure trek. How many of you have gone for trekking? Trekking. Okay, so you have some experience. Ahobalam. So we are all taking the adventure trek to the peak of Krishna Prem. Okay? You get the analogy? So we are taking adventure trek to the peak of Krishna Prem. So there are those Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana, Kriya, 9 major steps. Unfortunately, many people have no clue of this peak of Krishna Prem. They are after peak of power or scholarship, or some people are after peak of sex life, or people are money. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na kavitam. So no those peaks in life. He says we are hankering for the peak of Krishna Prem. No, this adventure trek for peak of Krishna Prem doesn't mean you will not wear good shoes. You will not carry sufficient water bottles and food in your backpack. And you will not carry the needed, GPS system, to navigate in the jungle or, all the needed such arrangements. Imagine if you go for a trek without these support systems. What will happen? We will actually not survive. We will create distress for ourselves and for others in our life. So therefore, we have to get clarity about what are those support systems or how to put them into priorities. So they begin with self-care. Now self-care means, what we need in our life to be well situated in material world? Food. Okay, food, clothing, shelter. Then we first need air and water. Nobody is telling that part. So all of us work in we indoor settings all the time, and we hardly. Then of course we need movement or exercise. What else we need? We need connection, human connection with people around us. Yeah, relationships. We need human connection. We can't survive without. It is as vital as the other things. Any other? What do we need? Education. Very good. Fundamental needs. उसमें आता है education. So we need to have some, teacher or a mentor or a coach with whom we have a, regular give and take of. So these are some crucial items in self-care.
Well-defined goals.
Huh?
Well-defined goals. Self-care.
Let's put that under education only. Clear goals and well-organized means. Okay? Now you may wonder कि वो Bhishmadev is doing, his Deshakala Vibhagavit. Why are we doing this? We are not Bhishmadev. We have to begin somewhere else. Often our devotees, we have seen also the pure devotee syndrome, they call PDS. They act on a platform that they are not and actually undergo tremendous misery in their life. So this is where it begins. First, arrange for basic self-care in life and do it on a day-to-day regular basis. This forms further the next, that is our sadhana, a daily connection with God. Now, there are items here. Most important is chanting, Nama sadhana, and of course, hearing the Vani of our spiritual master and study, deity worship, sadhu sangha. We can add. Let's call that as spiritual practices. Okay? Can you help me clean up? Any other spiritual practices you would like to add? The blue one. Huh? Service will come later. Yeah. Yatras. Mathuravas. Guru what? Guru is already covered here. Okay. Then the next priority in our life is family. Believe it or not. It's a very important priority in life. So brahmacharis have their own, so to say, family. Temple is their home and Radha Krishna are their father, mother, and Vaishnavas are the Bandhavas around. But then in Grihastha Ashrama there is also the close-knit blood relationship family. Very important aspect where we need to meet the needs and values of family members. So mutually failing to do so, we actually generate disturbance. Even in spiritual life it creates disturbance. It is not just that it is a disturbance between those two people. So that's family. And the next is occupation. So we have varna and we have ashrama, both duties. So there in occupation has basically three things. One is called job description, which we need to fulfill. Then pleasing the boss. Boss prasadat, company prasado. Boss aprasadat na gati kutopi. You all agree? So, and third is further skill development, skill building, because we need to fine tune what we are coming across. Learning and growth, very important. And then comes service to society. Of course, honestly speaking, in Vedic culture, these were not so black box, like, separate everything. It was so integrated that the day-to-day lifestyle of a person was so arranged that he did everything very nicely. Now we have to teach people, what is priority. So service to society is again of two types: service to ISKCON and service to non-ISKCON. You agree that is also service? Sometimes. So we render service to ISKCON, and then there is non-ISKCON को ISKCON बनाने के लिए हम प्रयत्नरत रहते हैं. Our goal is very clear. Sometimes a major portion of non-ISKCON will not become ISKCON. But if they simply remain supportive of ISKCON, that's good enough for us. It's not that everybody will chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, take initiation. Sometimes we go with that mold, in our head. And if people don't agree to do so, we actually become critical of them. Demon. Why? Sometimes in our own family we may see there are people who may not chant 16 rounds. Or like if somebody says, I will not chant your rounds, but whenever Janmashtami comes, I will come and do prasadam cooking or serving. Is it devotee or not devotee? Really? Yeah. So
100% he is giving, how much ever he can.
His 100% he is giving at that current stage of development. Wonderful thought. So to think like this will help us actually become peaceful. And also those people start appreciating the devotees for the connection that they are making with them. So some non-ISKCON will always remain, the material world, as we call it, but that's fine with us. We have no problem with that. Like Ghatotkach, Ghatotkach, Bhima's son, he knew that he will not become like a regular Arjuna or Parikshit Maharaj type devotee. Because born demoniac, a lot of tendencies and activities. But he knew, I have to lay down my life in serving Krishna. So when Krishna knew, Karna had that Shakti weapon. So he was not using it. He had reserved it for Arjuna. And then Krishna told Ghatotkach, you sort it out. That Shakti weapon has to be used. Otherwise Arjuna is in danger. And Ghatotkach created such a havoc in the battlefield that finally Karna had to use it. And when he shot it at Ghatotkach was about to die. He expanded his size far and wide, and he fell on the opposite army of Kauravas, killing another lakhs of soldiers. That is how he got liberated, and he went back home, back to Godhead also, despite having a demoniac body. So sometimes our conception of what is Krishna consciousness and how it works is very limited to our 16 round and 4 regulative principles. So if somebody comes and says, I will chant 2 rounds and I will follow 2.5 regulative principles, is that okay? Throughout life, if they are willing to do that, we are fine with it. Somebody says, I won't chant and I won't follow, but I will do seva. I like you people. I'll do something for you. Like that hippie who came and changed the toilet paper. And Prabhupada said, this is service. And everybody is looking, what is this service? Every jiva has the desire to serve. So this is how it is. So anything is okay with us. Use it or lose it. So we have to be careful not to brand ourselves as devotees and others as demons. Rather, we have to see everybody in the society as potential devotees or upcoming devotees. There is no devotees and demons. There are devotees and upcoming devotees. There are people who don't know that they are devotees. Okay? So now dharma makes sense in Kali Yuga. Sometimes you wonder what is dharma. So this is like a brief on a dharmic devotee. How does he look like? So why we got into this topic is because in our life we will have to make choices between higher and lower dharmas. You agree? Now who decides what is higher and what is lower? Person himself decides. Okay, Krishna will decide. Shastra will decide.
What exactly?
So,
Sometimes you have to give more time to the family, less time for
okay. Yes. Devotees will decide. You will not decide yourself. Seniors will decide everything for you. Who will decide? With help of Sadhu, Guru and Shastra? We have to decide. And we have to take full responsibility for our life. How much? Full. Can we blame it on ISKCON if our job became a failure in the company? Can we blame it on ISKCON if parents or children had a tough time with each other? Sorting out the Krishna culture in their amidst. Can we blame it on ISKCON if our health fails because of our neglect of it in the name of wrong prioritization? Can we blame ISKCON and Prabhupada? Are you sure? You still are thinking about it. Okay, at least some blame should be passed on somewhere. No, why why are you giving whole blame to me only? What do you say? Who is responsible? Why we are responsible? Because we have free will given by Krishna.
We are responsible for our decisions.
Yes. So don't say this that this devotee made my life miserable. Or this whatever. So we have to be careful to understand how it looks like. And you will be surprised to see I have put this as 1, this as 2nd, and 3rd, and then 4th, and then 5. Not necessarily like a hard and fast sequence. Sometimes things may change. But I hope you can still make some connection there about how things are. Because if you don't take yourself care, we can't do spiritual practices. If you are not in cheerful consciousness, we cannot deal with family members and demanding pressures that they put on us in a serving spirit. And then certainly it's very becomes very difficult to handle this. Devotee gets so fed up. Sometimes they say, Prabhu, going to job is like chewing on some metal. There is no rasa there. I have to do it. So sometimes it may happen that certain things may take priority, and we should be okay in adjusting that, not becoming rigid about what they call in the moment of choice, making the right decision. Any comments or questions?
Sometimes we follow dharma.
Sometimes we follow dharma.
No, hardly. Suppose, and sometimes you are forced to follow the
Others' dharma.
You can't say others dharma, you are forced to change your own dharma due to circumstances or place or traveling. Then again blame comes to us. That's how I say you take full responsibility. That time how to take.
No, we can take responsibility that I came into this situation because of earlier misuse of free will, some karma. So, not like,
Again our karma.
yes. But at the same time, there is a way to deal with it. The best way to deal with conflicts is those people or organizations in conflict have to sit together and find out what is our common vision and what are our individual commitments to fulfill that common vision. Only then conflicts can get resolved. Okay. So now I will speak little more practically. You may wonder now this is not practical, then what is more practical? So let us call it a daily consciousness launching program. So imagine a rocket. This is standing because of supports, which I am not showing. It is not yet fired. It is on ground still. So, in a rocket launch, what do you think are most important considerations? Okay, fuel चाहिए. हाँ? Escape velocity. और थ्रस्ट. ओके, और क्या चाहिए? हाँ, you need a launching pad. So family and occupation is the launching pad. And finally, yeah, it has to go to some planet, ना? ऐसे थोड़ी रॉकेट बनाता है कोई. बोले क्यों बना क्या रखा है पता नहीं. Looks nice. So there has to be some meaningful service contribution that we produce at the end. What is it called, you said? A destination. So our destination is seva, meaningful seva, or back to Godhead. At the end of life, our rocket has to go into Krishna Loka planet. So I hope this makes sense. All of this is important. Any ingredient missed out?
Fasting.
Huh?
Fasting.
Fasting. You want to put that in spiritual practices? Okay. Let's call that as celebrating Vaishnava days, which includes not just fasting, feasting also. Just make it happy. Huh? Feasting is also part of our culture. Celebrating Vaishnava days. Okay. Now when they do a rocket launch, before the rocket is launched, there is something called as the pre-launch procedure. You know this? So the fellow will check out कि fuel बराबर भरा है कि नहीं, and he will figure out कि वो engine का quality of producing thrust is going wonderful or not, and they will figure out if things looks okay for firing, and also are we well monitored through our system to reach our destination. We can also call this as navigation system. It's an important part of what navigates us in our life. Okay. So now let us think of a day in our life soon to be day, where we have in the morning we wake up at Brahma Muhurta time. That is 1.5 hours before the sunrise. And the first thing we do is that we calm our mind. We prepare our mindset for the day. A simple another portion that we follow after that is express your gratitude in life. There are many things going good in our life actually, a lot of them. But our mind has a tendency to not focus there and make us miserable. Then the next item we have on the list is review your goals. Oh, sorry, before that, study something positive. Then review your goals. Then write a plan for the day. Then hear or watch something inspirational. And then fire. Fire means you get into the day. So what I am calling this as is pre-launch procedure. I hope you are getting daily consciousness launch. And then there is some pre-launch procedure. So how do you calm your mind? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With great focus and attention, tremendous veneration and prayer in heart, we chant this mantra, repeatedly aligning our mind. Oh Hare, oh Krishna, please engage me in your service. So chant Hare Krishna very sincerely. So why am I saying this? Because Grihasthas have difficulty singing Mangal Aarti at 4:30 am in their homes. Now we are not discussing this temple morning program. This is your home morning program, wherever you are staying. If you are staying near a temple, story is different. But if you are not, then you cannot begin 4:30 banging mridang kartal, Neighbors will come and they will basically dislodge you from that community. So we begin with chanting. Then express your gratitude. Mangal Aarti is nothing but whole through, to Guru, to Narasimhadev, to Tulsi Maharani, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to spiritual master and Guru Puja. And so we are actually, with a grateful and earnest heart, we are going through the morning program, really meditating on the meanings. There is an ample opportunity given throughout that time to express our gratitudes to Guru, Krishna, Vaishnavas, all those who have been helping us in our spiritual life. Even to Durga Devi, material nature. And to trouble-making people in the life that we have. We express gratitude to them that because of you, I am what I am. I am able to do what I am. I am really working on developing Vaishnava qualities because you are there in my life. So we can express gratitude like that. And you will see when you do this regularly, you feel so happy. Chaudi ke anand dekhi. Our Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying, what is that? Ashoka abhaya amruta dhara tomara charana dvaya tahate khona vishrama labhiya chadi nu bhavera bhaya. What a prayer. He's saying, I have become fearless in this material existence, having attained shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna. So treat Mangal Aarti in that context. You will really relish every morning. You feel happy. And then, next, study something positive. What is positive in life? Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And how you study is very important. You actually study with writing your discoveries. Krishna is speaking to you for that day when you are studying. Ki Bal Govind, work in this direction. So you write your discoveries. Close the door. It could be even 15-minute study, not very long. Because I know I have seen 1 hour 50 minutes it takes for chanting 16 good rounds, usually. And if you do a full morning program without lead and follow, it takes 20 minutes. You start singing Samsar Davanala all the way through Narasimharti, Tulsi Puja, everything. It takes only 20 minutes. Maybe 25 minutes, depending on how you. Or 15 and 20 minutes, you hear. Kitna ho gaya? 2.5 hours. Then you review goals. Review goals. What are the goals? We wrote just now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a rough draft. You can fine tune it for yourself. You can add to it. कि मेरे जीवन के और कुछ गोल हो सकते हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि सब कुछ बाल गोविंद डिसाइड करेगा. So you go and figure it out. What do you want to do? And then write a plan for the day after reviewing your goals. So this whole procedure may take you say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then have some nice collection of very powerful classes or videos or whatever you feel that really adds spice to your life, as they call. So I'll tell you a few of the videos that I watch. One is this Acharya series of Prabhupada. Another is the this Panchatattva Abhishek with that song Gauranga Karunakara Dina Hina Jane. So you can figure out, there are small ones, they're like 4 minute, 5 minute, not very long, but they are powerful. You just watch them, you feel, my God, what, kya karu, kya nahi karu, abhi, after this. And then, this is like a countdown, going on. Like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. After that you get into the day and then you don't look left and right. Means you look left and right, but you actually are so happy that I have finally a clarity, of what am I doing in life, and do it very nicely. So this is what I have been trying to do last 1.5 months. So after doing it like that, then I'm telling you, and it really works. Other people and problems don't deter you in your life. You can tell them, wonderful, welcome, we'll take you along somewhere. I am headed for something, you come along now. Not that they come and they knock you down and you wonder. Generally what happens with us, we have no such a planned thing. So usually you will see, we crash land our consciousness into some territory by the middle of the day, where we keep wondering, how did I come here? ऐसा हुआ है आपके साथ कभी कभी? You have this experience? That so other people, other situation, they come and hijack you. And then you don't know which, मैं निकला था बॉम्बे से न्यूयॉर्क जाने के लिए, अफगानिस्तान में किधर आ गया? So it becomes like that sometimes. Whole day is hijacked by somebody else and something else, and you don't know what is going on in life. So don't misfire your consciousness every day in the morning. How to misfire your consciousness, I'll tell you that also. The first thing you do after waking up is to switch on television and then read newspaper and then sit in your bed, for another 45 minutes daydreaming. कि इसका क्या है, उसका क्या है, how this fellow is troubling me, how that fellow is troubling me in life. And then you can also do a few additional things like going back to sleep, or not doing any exercise, not. So these are sure short ways of misfiring your consciousness. You have seen misfired rocket launches? It looks funny, but it is so dangerous actually, disastrous. It looks funny in the sense, I saw, it goes something like this, but what is happening? That day is gone, that energy is gone, and Krishna's vital resources are destroyed, in life. So I hope this makes some sense. And I will also tell you a wind-up program for the day. How you should wind up your day. How you launched is one part of the story. So you have to dock also, na? After going to your planet, wherever you go, you have to dock there. So the docking program. Every night, make it a point that your family takes dinner together. Compulsory. Everybody sits together and eats. Question. Review goals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I had written. You make your own goals.
But when the day starts, everyone goes by what the boss decides. Nothing to the whole day. Like from 10 to 6 almost in the office, we cannot decide our goals.
Fine now.
So it will be more tactical, like what is within is small.
But what is happening 6 to 10? If you don't plan that, then as I said, life just goes on and you don't know where is it going. Of course, in our office life time, we can also be organized. It's possible. But we have to put our thought to it. So let's talk about docking. So half an hour dinner together. Whole family comes and dinner. Then after dinner, 10 minutes, you read Krishna book or anything that is in story form. Ramayana, Mahabharata, Krishna book, Bhagavatam in story form, Prabhupada Leelamrit. Morning Tattva, evening Rasa or Leela. So in our Brahmacharya ashram we have a slogan, hot milk and Krishna book keeps away Maya's hook. So every night while drinking hot milk, you read Krishna book. It's very nice. Then 10 minutes, you again have Shayan Kirtan. Now these are like, one extra round of japa or one Shayan Kirtan or one Vaishnava song. You really do it feelingly. The whole family does it together. And then 10 minutes, if you want to, take a review of the day and write a gratitude and regret journal. With some resolves that you take for the next day. At least the resolve that I will chant my rounds very nicely tomorrow. And this is best done by the family together, whole of it together. So if you are sleeping at 10 p.m., is that a good time to sleep? So 9:30, whatever, 9 to 10 or whatever time is your dinner and everything. You figure it out. So this is a half an hour program coupled with your dinner. What do you think will happen to your life if you really started following this? What will happen? You'll become organized. You'll be able to do things which you really want to do. Huh? Yeah. The whole family, because they are doing these things together and they have clarity, they will actually do a lot more. Any miscommunication will not happen. सुबह सुबह उठ के चालू, दिमाग गरम करने का काम. तुमने ऐसा बोला था, मैंने ऐसा नहीं बोला था. So, any other?
You can focus on each and everything.
We can focus on everything that is important to us in our life, not just get some, they call myopic view of life. Looking, yes.
We'll achieve balance between both the dharmas.
She's sticking to the point of Bhagavatam purport, that we will become expert religionists. That's what will happen. Just for that 2 words of the purport, you become expert religionists who knows how to adjust things according to time, place and circumstance. So you live by dharma, dharma will help you live further, better in life. Okay, so we end there. Any comments or questions? So I hope you now got why I went to the whole 9th verse back again, because this was brewing in my head. Yes.
Something about how to get up early every day.
It begins with sleeping on time the previous day. So make it a policy that by 10 o'clock or 10:15 blackout. And we have to make that habit for our kids and everyone. And you can even come earlier. 8:39 is better. If you just sleep at 8:40 p.m. according to Ayurveda, you only need 4 hours rest. You'll be shocked to know. Max 5 hours rest. And if you can then wake up at 1:30, you are fresh. And Prabhupada did that, no? 1:30 is to wake up. So I'm not saying 8:30, don't get, but not like 11, 11:30, 12 is a normal. It's not normal, it is a nishachar. It's a asura civilization. It's not normal. You have to come to human civilization. Any other?
Sometimes in our dealings or when our doing things, we may do it like passionately. We are not putting our head, just doing it like that. Then later thinking, I did a mistake. Again, brooding over it. So, like how to step by step reduce this tendency.
You just live this on a daily basis. All these things will go away gradually. We should not allow things that we can't do anything about interfere with things that we can do something about. So this is something you can do. You keep doing this. Then those things that you couldn't do, you will start doing them also.
You mentioned about this two types of activities, respecting time and people. With time itself, it makes us efficient, and with people, it can plan.
We have to delegate what we have on our plate in our weekly schedule to some time slot. That's one way to get it done. Is there any other way to get it done? There is no other way. Sometimes we think, ye karunga. Unless you put it there, this time, this activity, it will not happen. So that is called delegation to time. You have delegated it to the time slot in your weekly schedule. Then only it will happen. And the second is you delegate it to other people. There are many things in our life which we need not do. We can delegate it off. Like your home's furniture, you didn't sit and make. You delegated it off to somebody. Or your, some people have these maid servants who come to their homes and they do the brooming and cleaning and washing, and you have delegated off something. So that then you can focus on more so important.
Why is it effective? That also can bring in efficiency. So how is that part of now?
Efficiency means to do things right. And effective means to do the right things. So when you give it off to people, then you become free to choose further priorities and important things in life. That's how you start doing the right things. सोचो अगर आपका गाड़ी जब खराब होता है तो आप मैकेनिक भी आप ही हो, everything you are only doing, then where will the time be for so many other things? So then you will not be able to do the right things. But when you delegate to time, you are doing the things right. You are the Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It, behind it, running and doing things. Sometimes you have seen, we are busy but not productive. Whole day has gone, we are hyper busy. ऐसा एक मिनट नहीं था जिसमें क्षणाची उसंत नाही मिळाली मला. People talk about, so what did you do? पता नहीं क्या किया. At the end of the day, I don't know where it went. So that is time related paradigm of that person. So we better work on developing teams, making cross connections with other people, stay together like a community, make a family of spiritualists where a lot of things can be done and our effectiveness will multiply like anything. Otherwise we're doing the same stupid things in the same old fashioned way. Why in brahmacharya ashram brahmacharis are able to do so much? Because loads are shared, mutual responsibilities are well laid out, and there are clear-cut goals. Book distribution, 1.5 lakh Mahabig books. There is no ambiguity about what they are trying to achieve in life. So that is why it happens. ऐसा नहीं कि मेरे को every day I have to go and cook also and serve also. No, it's a whole teamwork. So I do my part, they do their part, and actually the whole thing looks so nice. I didn't make the wicks of the morning arati, which I'm going and attending. Somebody else made it. I didn't go and fix up the sound system, for the morning program. Somebody else did it. But when we come together and perform, the mutual experience of that staying is so wonderful. And my contribution is what? Insignificant. To get that grand experience in life. So that is people paradigm. That's why it is effective. I hope it's becoming clearer. So sorry for turning Bhagavatam class into management class. But unless you do management, you can't read Bhagavatam peacefully. So yes.
Express your gratitude, say effectiveness on that. That means you are doing a secular chanting or looking at, and you come together and do.
You decide.
Or you just sing while you're cooking.
Cooking, yeah, while getting ready. In fact, it's good to once make a nice recording in your own voices, like 3 of you sit together and make a 20-minute full-scale recording in your own voices. Why in our own voices? Because we are materially attached to our own voice. We like to hear it. Ki mera awaaz. Fine, no problem. Another reason is there is no such a recording available. You have to make it first. So you only have to make it. So I have done that for myself. And it is so nice. You actually go through the whole. See, can you not think of it? I understand we are all Kali Yuga Vasis and we are Grihastha with 100 responsibility, all that tags attached. But is there anything that we are missing out on following that Prabhupada told us to do? We may not be doing it in time-wise quantity, but item-wise and even quality-wise we are there. Each item is being followed. What is being asked? So this is called jam, bread, jam sandwich. It begins with sweetness in the morning, then there is bread, the 10 to 6, bread, and then again jam at the night when you are sleeping. We generally do ulta. And this is bread, then jam. Some jam. By the time you come, that jam also becomes like Karela juice, Because at the 8 p.m. you saw that there are 16 rounds remaining. So then what will happen? Nayanam galadashrudharaya, Vadanam gadgadarudhaya gira. All hairs are standing on end at the thought that I have to chant 16 rounds at 8 p.m. Tava nama grahane bhavishyati, ho hi raha already. So stop living ghastly lives, basically. Kya zarurat hai? Everything is there, nicely given. Yes.
Can you share your experience of your yatra?
I can't share everything, but I'll speak something. So I had the good fortune of going to 5 cities in 17 days. Atlanta, New York, New Jersey, Boston, Chicago, San Jose. And each of these places, the devotees, the temples, and the Krishna culture, everywhere was a new and a learning experience. So every place had its own flavor. So New Jersey is a place where the devotees recently acquired a church. We purchased it. All done by the grihasthas. There is no brahmacharis. In the whole America, I found in the whole journey only 2 brahmacharis. That is how rare the species is. Endangered species. So, and one was our personally, Sundarnath Prabhu. One brahmachari was Pune fellow. So in the whole 17 days, only one association. Anyways, so in New Jersey, the whole temple is run by grihasthas. They only acquired it. They only fix it up for our usage. They only got the deities arranged, the dresses, the daily worship, the bhoga offering, the programs. Generally, Saturday, Sunday is like the most thronging time, of bustling with activity. The whole temple is. Weekdays are little docile. Still, they maintain the morning standards of dressing and cooking and all that. But there is nobody in the morning program. Here we have such an opulence, my God. Their only deities are there in the morning program. And the pujari. Everybody else is busy in their home. So, but the best part of that was that the New Jersey temple is so well taken care of and so nicely expanding in its outreach activities because of the sincere efforts of those grihasthas. So I basically spoke on topics that they gave me of their interest. It was not like a fixed schedule. Some told me to speak on art of parenting. Somebody told, teach us Bhagavad Gita in nutshell. In 1 hour, tell us the whole Bhagavad Gita. And somebody told me, I also gave 2 programs in corporate companies, one in Google, another in Pulse Secure. So that was also a wonderful experience to learn. Google, the title was the happiness spectrum. And Pulse Secure was time management. So when I first time went and told about time management, I said time management is a misnomer. Nobody can manage time. I could see all these VPs and all big people sitting on the, their jaw dropped. They said, I never thought like that. And I said, I will tell you a secret. The secret of time management is you have to increase the quality of your consciousness. The more you become clutter-free in your consciousness, time becomes friendly to you. And the more you clutter your consciousness or make it dirty, time becomes tight on you. This is the correlationship between Krishna in the form of time and your consciousness. How the dealings happen. So, for them it was like a spiritual perspective, on time management. Ye kya hota hai aisa? So then, at the end, that VP person, that lady, she's a Jew. I forget her name. She came and personally thanked and gave a lot of gifts and said, we never heard things like this. Nobody talks these things in corporate life these days. We thought it will be another session for training. So that was one experience. And Google the happiness spectrum. That is that Annamaya, Pranamaya. The levels of existence and how you can choose where you want to get situated at in the happiness spectrum. In the Google program, one American person who had come, he stayed back. After even the session got over, he was not going. He was hanging around, wanting to talk. So I was just sitting and talking to the devotees who organized the program after the class got over. So we were just discussing normally. And then he revealed himself. He said, actually, I began my session by telling, I'm going to speak to you on the basis of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Taittiriya Upanishad, and the Bhagavad Gita. That's how I began the class. And what do they talk about? The meaning, the purpose, and the contribution of life. And then I elaborated. At the end of that, this person comes up and he says, last 20 years, I have been studying Vedas. He's a total American man. He has no clue of ISKCON or anything like that. On his own, he has been going here, there. He has come to India. He has gone to Varanasi, Vrindavan. This is unbelievable, those people. And then he said, the only place I liked, finally, is your Govardhan Eco Village and your Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And he said, I felt these are the modern places of pilgrimage for people all over the world. And he is not a devotee. Please don't think that he is, like a... So he has his own quest, he's going around the world, figuring out this, figuring out that. And so he didn't know my connection with GEV or anything like that. He's just talking from his perspective. And then he says, your presentation was so nice. Today, for the first time, I understood what is the Taittiriya Upanishad talking about, which I'm studying for 20 years. He was trying to figure it out on his own. So I said, this is the advantage of having an Acharya, like Prabhupada. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. If you have an Acharya, you become knower of everything. So then I gave him Bhagavad Gita. He took it. So these were some experiences. But one thing is that the field is ripe, fertile. Another place I went is called Mount Madonna. Now there is no Madonna there. There is a Hanuman temple. And there is one person from India. His name is Haridas Baba, who was a Ram Bhakta and Hanuman Bhakta, who went there, and he's a Mauni Baba. He doesn't speak anything. And so he stayed there on that mountain. I don't know, God knows how he went there, but he went. And he started staying on that mountain. And those Americans who would come for this and that, he started teaching them yoga, teaching them mantra chanting, Ram Nam, And then he told them, this is Hanuman. He's the best of all yogis, Bhakti yogi. He's a Jnana yogi, Ashtanga yogi, everything, full skill. And he's a devotee of Ram. And you will not believe, there is a whole small Hindu community of Westerners there who follow chanting of Ram Nam, who do yoga every day, who cook vegetarian food, no onion, no garlic. Really. And, they invite other Americans and there are schools that come and visit them, and then they give them a full-scale experience of their, community. This is California, near San Jose. So I was so shocked how Sanatan Dharma actually, culture is so appealing universally. If you and I don't do it, don't worry, somebody else will do it. And they will take the credit. तुम्ही आले तर तुमच्या सहित, नाही आले तर तुमच्या शिवाय. Krishna's job will go on. So we better participate. And as Krishna is saying, Arjuna, this battle is already decided. Who is going to win? Ye match fixed hai. As we call it. So it is going to happen. That people are going to take to Sanatan Dharma. So if you and I don't do it, somebody else will do it. So that was an amazing experience. And we went there and we had taken our harmonium, mridang, kartal, everything, and we sang, we sang Hare Krishna mantra, beautiful kirtan, just 4-5 of us. But such a kirtan, their whole community got, excited. They all, from either their windows or around the compound walls, or in the excuse of, doing some chore there in the temple, everybody was trying to hang around, the kirtan. And we knew that they are, they feel ki ye to bahar ke log hai, that kind of. But sometimes they want to be there and experience what these people are doing. And then at the end of that, they were so happy. That lady came with bundi laddus. She's an American lady. She knows how to cook bundi laddus. घी में बनाया हुआ बूंदी लड्डू लेके आए हो. बोला आपने इतना अच्छा कीर्तन किया, इसके लिए लड्डू खाओ. तो हमने लड्डू लिए, फिर हमने उसको शिकागो टेम्पल से लेके हुए पेड़े दिए. बोले ये पेड़ा खा के देखो हमारा. तो उसने तुरंत उधर ही खाया, वो समाधि में चला गया माता जी. Really, I'm telling you, not joking. She really went into the moment she tasted prasadam. And then she spontaneously started singing a Ram's bhajan. I am not so great at Hindi bhajans of Lord Ram, but she sang a Hindi bhajan of Lord Ram. Ekdam askhalit Hindi, no problem Hindi. She's an American lady, huh? And I was so shocked. I said, why did you sing that? She said, Prasad made me so happy. The Lord's name came in my mouth. She says. I was thinking, my God, every time I eat Prasad, how many times do I take? I have a tendency to sometimes quickly get depressed about certain inabilities that I have. So then I figured it out. This is an interesting quality, of this person. How can somebody do that? So the kind of experiences I had were like, everywhere is a learning experience. Any person you interact, anything you see. In fact, by the time I stayed for 2 days, I got to know the traffic laws, the codes and the norms and the conducts and the whole thing so nicely that I would sometimes correct our devotees who drive wrongly, or they said, "Tumko kaise malum? Ye law aisa hota hai." I said, I studied it before I came here, so that I don't do mischief, with their culture. So,
what is the status of ISKCON nowadays in Western countries?
In some places, it is growing like anything. Such as San Jose, New Jersey, and now even Bhakti Center in New York, and at least these places. In certain places, they are just maintaining the status quo. Just running the daily thing is big thing. So that's about my brief. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhishma Dev ki jai. Following Dharma ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.